Hey, what's happening YouTube? It's Mark here from Mark's Aquatics. I've had a couple of people ask me on the comments there, they'd like to see a bit more of the koi. So I've set the tripod up in the koi room, opposite the workshop where I'll make the things that you see on there. And I thought I'd have a little chat to you about them. And I'll chuck a bit of food in, and they'll come up and have some food. Yeah, the temperature's nice now, it's warming up, and we've got 13.5 degrees now, so that's warming up nicely. The old metabolisms are starting to kick into gear, and the bacteria is starting to form in the pond and in the filter more so now, which is always good. We like bacteria. Beneficial bacteria is your friend in your koi pond, in your aquariums, in anything that you've got. And like I say, the more food you put in and the warmer the water gets, you'll create more bacteria, which will get rid of all them nitrates, nitrites and ammonias and all that kind of stuff, and give you a nice clean healthy pond and healthy fish. All my fish seem to have cleared up lovely now. They had a little bit of trichodema on them earlier, no doubt they've still got it, but it doesn't seem to be plaguing them that much. They're not itching, I can't see them flashing anywhere, which is a good sign. And they all seem healthy. Like I say, I feed them the wheat germ and the garlic earlier on in the spring, and that brings their immunities up to speed again, and creates a nice working system, and stops all them nasties getting them. I had a couple of little spots of the carp pox on one of the younger one's tails, but that's nothing to worry about. That normally clears up by itself in the spring and early summer. When the water warms up, you'll find that that normally drops off and clears up on its own. And it's normally only a younger koi that get it in the spring. Like you say, they've been lying dormant all winter, not being fed, metabolism's right down low, and just basically hibernation throughout the winter. And as soon as their little bodies kick back into gear and the temperature warms up, they become more active. That goes for all your pond fish, all your goldfish, anything. And as soon as they wake up, everything kicks back into life. And as I say, the summer's on its way now. Looking forward to some nice sunny days where I can get out in the garden and do a bit more. Had a bit of a shock this morning. I looked out my window and just looking up at a squirrel in the tree, and all of a sudden a huge heron landed up on a branch. And I'm really closed in my back garden where I am. We've got the telephone wires which come across the top of the pond, and I'm surrounded by oak trees, beech trees, mountain ash, and they're quite close to the garden and they're quite high, so I didn't think I've never seen one in the garden. And this guy just landed straight up in the branches of the tree, and I went cold. I thought, oh my god, here we go. Now he's seen the pond, he's never going to leave them alone until he's got them all. So I didn't do anything, I just watched him. And he was there beading away, looking away, sizing up which one he was going to have. And I didn't do anything, I just waited. Anyway, as luck would have it, he decided it was too close, too enclosed, and he didn't risk coming down. So touch wood, I hope he's not going to come back early in the morning. I'm going to get up early tomorrow morning and make sure the little monkey's not hiding up in the trees again, because that would be bad. We don't want to go losing our fish. Like I say, I've had these since they were little, and I'd be devastated if I lost them. So I was contemplating on putting a net over the top straight away, and I thought, well, no, I'll wait for a minute, I'll just see how he goes. But he flew off and he hasn't been back since. I've got security cameras which I put up, and they can see well, sorry, I can see the branch where he landed on, and I've been looking and kept my footage on me. I can access it anywhere in the world on my phone, and I've been checking every 10 minutes, making sure there's nothing in the garden, nothing on the pond, and like I say, touch wood, he hasn't come back yet. Otherwise it's shotgun time for him. No, I'm only joking, I wouldn't shoot him. He's only doing what nature intended him to do, and that's catch his fish for his teeth. You can't fault him for that. But I don't want him eating my fish, so I'll do anything I can. I have got one of these garden water sprayers that you rig up to the hose pipe, and it's got a motion sensor on it. If you haven't got one of those for your koi pond, I seriously think you should check one out. They only cost about 24 quid to say, well, for a cheaper version. It's more expensive ones, obviously, you get what you pay for. But they're amazing, because if you've got cats that visit your pond and try and hook your fish out, or obviously the herons, if you live in, obviously if you're in the US or anywhere like that, you get the raccoons and all these other different species of animals, and minks and all these sort of, we got mink in Britain as well, but they always try and have a go at your fish. And these things are great because they work on motion sensing, and once you plug them into the hose pipe, it's pretty straightforward. It says it itself, you just put it on there. As soon as it gets something in the garden that moves, the sprayer goes on, and it makes a loud cracking noise as well, because the sprayer actually flicks backwards and forwards and it hits a little plate, and that makes it make a nice rattling sound as well, so it scares the life out of anything that comes near the pond. And then it stays on for a few seconds, and then it goes off again until the next victim comes along. But yeah, I really I think they're great. They're good value for money, and when you're away, especially when you go away on holiday, you're not going to be around. I mean, when I go away, I put my covers back on. I've got 3 polycarbonate covers which I put on, because there's no much point in me being the other side of the world or anywhere else, and you get the old predators coming down and you can't do anything about it. There's no point shouting at the camera, that's not going to scare it away. So I'll put the covers back on, and then I've got peace of mind, and I know the fish are safe then, so it all works well. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying my videos so far. I've been doing my best to push a few out, and I've got an amazing 125 followers now, which is absolutely amazing. I really didn't think I'd get half of that, to be honest. I say I don't do it for the views, I don't do it for anything really, I do it for me, and I enjoy making them. I enjoy making the videos and putting them out there, because I think if I'm helping somebody out, that makes me happy. And I'm always up to stuff, I'm always busy, so I just thought, well, why not film it, and hope, you know, somebody else might enjoy watching me do things, and 125 of you have so far, which is brilliant. I know I try and cover all the things from my shrimp room to the koi pond here, and outside with the filters. I've got the aquascape inside as well, got the puffers upstairs. And also we've got Frank now, the big Citronalis Midas, which I rescued from a nasty man that was going to chuck him into one of our local rivers because he didn't want him anymore, and he basically sold his tank, took the fish down to the shop, and of course, because they're big aggressive fish, the shop owner didn't want to take him on because he had nowhere to put him. So he was going to say, and I walked in the shop and I saw all this going on, and anyway I walked out the shop and the guy was there, and I said, well look, you know, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to throw him in the canal. I said, you can't do that. He said, well, do you want him? And I said, yeah, I'll take him on then, you know. And I had a cycle tank in the shrimp room. If you want to see him, go and have a look at the video. It's called Frank, or welcome to Frank, seeing Frank, or something like that. I can't remember what I called it now, but and you can have a look at him. He's a stunning fish, very playful. And like I say, if they're kept on their own, they're fine. He's only in a smallish tank. It's the only one I had that I cycled. But it's better than he was gonna. Well, it would have been lights out for him. Otherwise, he'd have been. He wouldn't have made it. He'd have died. So, bless him. So he's safe in there now, and I'll keep him for a while. And if any of my friends or people that I know have got a big enough tank and they want to take him on, I'll rehome him to them later on. But otherwise, the poor guy's fate was sealed, and I wouldn't want anything to happen to any creatures like that. It makes me mad when I see people get these fish and they stick them in these little tanks, or they buy these Peru sharks and all these other different fish, knowing very well Pacu's another one, and they put them in these little tanks, and within 6 months they're bigger and they're just about turned around in the tank there. They get that big, and then they end up throwing them in a pond somewhere because they can't give them away. And I know a lot of the shops now don't actually, I know some of the bigger aquatic shops in the UK, they don't actually order them anymore. They won't order them unless they're a special order and they know you've got a tank which is going to be big enough and you're sensible enough to own a fish of that size. You know, people get the alligator gars and they get all kinds of fish like this, and rays, and they're trying to house these things in these tiny little tanks, so they're just not right for them. The filtration's not right for them, and they end up dying. I've kept all these things before. I mean, I've had, my last tank I had was, well, the biggest tank I've had is 9 foot 3B2, and I had a big predator tank there. That was many moons back, that was, but I had lots of big predator fish in there. Alligator gars, I had some Florida gars. What else did we have in there? Pacus, we had a couple of rays. We had a black diamond ray in there. I had some Kelbride bass, some Tomensis bass. Oh, I had all kinds of stuff in there. Big birches. It was a beautiful tank. What else did I have? I had a Goliath tiger in there. A lot bigger than the one you've seen in my other videos. I don't know if you've seen that one. If not, there's a video of him on there. But he was only a baby one. The other one I had was about nearly, I don't know, I suppose about 14 inches long. He was a belter, he was. But there you go. That was many moons back. But anyway, I thought I'd do this video just because people have asked for it and they want to see a bit more of the koi. I've got plenty of work to do in this fish room in here, in the koi room here this summer. So we're going to do different things. We're going to put some plants in here and various other things I'm going to do. Put a nice big pot plant, I think, over in that corner there, something in that corner. I did have a big tree fern in there, but he grew a bit too big for in that corner and he was a little bit light deprived, so I put him outside and he's doing a lot better out there now. So I'm going to find something to go in there. What yet? I don't know. Yeah, I must admit, I do love this pond. Like I say, I can sit in my workshop here where I am now. I can make it, I'm making things for you guys to see and to hopefully replicate and make some for yourself, give you a bit of inspiration. And I can look over my shoulder and see my little koi swimming around. It's all slowly coming together. It all takes time. Nothing in this game happens overnight, and the more patient you are, the better results you'll get out of it. The more you think things through, setting up, whether it's setting up a shrimp tank or building a koi pond or anything really, just take it slow, let nature take its course and its time, let everything settle in, and before you know it, you'll have something worth looking at every day, and you'll be happy that you the way you did it. I've been younger, I've rushed ponds, I've had previous ponds, I've had a koi pond in one of my old houses that was oh, it was huge, and but I didn't put that in right. I didn't have the bottom drains in it, and it just didn't work. And I always had problems. I had blanket weed problems. It was an absolute curse. So I tore it all down in the end and replaced everything. But then at that time, like I say, I was a bit younger then. I never had the money to do it all. But obviously, as you get older, things change, and now I've got this pond, which is a lot smaller than the one I had. But I like this one 10 times more than the bigger pond. It doesn't matter how big a pond is, it's just, you know, if you've got it right and it works and the fish are happy and you see them gliding about, just taking their little bits off the top of the water. When you're having a coffee in the morning and they come out to see you, it just makes your morning, it really does. They put a smile on your face and they're always waiting for you. They're the best alarm clocks going. They know exactly when you're going to get up. Because I can look out of my bedroom window, and if I'm a little bit late, they're all in the shed here, all waiting for me to come down. None of them are outside. They'll all be indoors, waiting for me, which I find which is nice. and they're all putting on some nice weight now as well. They're all looking lovely. They're really coming out. The colour's coming out. I've got some more food coming shortly, which is some I'll do a review on that when that comes and take you through it. It's a food that I've been using for years, and like you say, there's other brands out there, but it's the one that I've always come to. If you see the pellets I'm chucking in there now, they're basically a bit of cheapy goldfish food for the pond I've got out the front. For the goldfish, I've got a little aranda out the front there, and a few little comets and shabumpkins out in the front pond, and I just feed them that. But I've run out of wheat germ with garlic now, so within a couple of days this stuff will come, and then I'll show you how crazy they go for that. Anyway guys, I hope you liked the video. If you do, like, share and subscribe, and like you say, be good, be safe, take care of yourselves, enjoy your hobbies, and I'll see you on the next video. Okay, bye for now guys, take care, bye.